Approach, Guardian. Believe me when I tell you that I did not know of Savathun's deception until she arrived in the Dreaming City. She offered me a bargain. If I exercise her worm, she will release Osiris and help us defeat the Black Fleet. I recognize the risk. Her inevitable betrayal is all but a guarantee. But without her worm, Savathun is vulnerable, unprotected by the security of her throne world. Mortal. To separate Savathun from the parasite inside her, I need Techians, skilled awoken mystics. Few still live. Most were lost, guiding my return to the Dreaming City when Xivu Arath ambushed us. But I can still feel their minds. The mystic compass you hold will reveal pathways to each lost Techion. Relight the pathways of the Ascendant Plane, and guide my people back to me. My wrath, Petravenge, will brief you further.
Queen Mara has already told you we must recover our lost Techians in order to free Savathun from her servitude to the Worm Gods. I will tell you how. Imagine the universe as a set of coins, stacked, one on top of the other. The top coin is our reality. The bottom, the Ascendant Plane. Between them lies an intermeshing of ever-shifting pathways, known as ley lines. Almost all the ancient pathways are now defunct, but beings of paracausal ability can navigate and rebuild them. This is the art of wayfinding. We know our lost Techians are stranded somewhere among the ley lines, and they're leaving us markers to follow. I'm forwarding you the coordinates to the first marker. It should tell us which ley line to look in. Then we'll use the blind well to tear open a rift and send you through to find them. Xivu Arath is desperate to capture her sister. Her forces, which now include the Taken, will attempt to stop you at every turn. Listen, I know your crow intends to accompany you. Mara also wants him close. Our Techians went to retrieve Queen Mara on my orders. This can't fail. Not because of him.
Approach, Guardian. I have an awoken tale to tell you. One my brother recited to our people's children quite often. Long ago, great kestrels roamed the sky. They built ornate nests in the heavens like conquerors. But in their arrogance, they ignored whispers of storms on the wind. Until one day, one such storm swept over them. It collapsed the heavens, drowned their nests. So they fled, and the storm pursued them. Most died, but a fated few washed upon the shores of a great hollow oak. There, a mother kestrel guarded her clutch, 2 shells, bonded inseparably. A daughter, Riga, a son, Agar. Their hearts beat in unison. And they grew. Riga, intuitive and cunning. Agar, loyal but adventurous. Knowing they would one day wish to leave the hollow to face the storm, their mother plucked feathers from her plumage, and one from each child. For Riga, she crafted a crown to keen her mind, centered by Agar's luminous feather. For Agar, she crafted a scepter, cored by his sister's obsidian feather to guide his spirit. There is truth in this tale. The scepter and crown, they are real. One I already have. The other, you will retrieve for me. When you return, I will tell you the rest. I am Marasav, Queen of the Reef. I once made a great sacrifice to protect humanity from the Hive. I lost everything. My fleet, my brother, my people's very way of life. I watched the Dreaming City fall into ruin, desecrated by Oryx, cursed by Savathun. Now I've returned to retake this sacred place, to finally wrest it free from the Hive's claws. Although you have taken things near and dear to me as well. You have also learned that your list of enemies need not be so broadly defined. Today we are afforded a unique opportunity. The road ahead of us is fraught with perilous choices, Guardian. Choose wisely.
I am at your mercy, Guardian. This construct protects me from those who wish me harm, from my worm's hunger. But it is a prison, too. Quite elegant, don't you think? I have only one regret, and that is how long it took me to reveal myself to you. I see your synapses firing. A specimen scarred by skepticism. They'd call me a liar. But we share mutual interests, you and I. If you believe anything I tell you, believe in that. Now, let me show you a different interpretation of the truth. Who is Savathun, you ask? You already know. Oh, Guardian mine. I am your friend. I tried to protect you from the Black Fleet. You called it interference. Don't worry. I was not offended. Instead, I found a form more pleasing to your eyes. Osiris was lost. Lightless. I saved him from Xivu Arath and assumed his shape so I could guide your victory against her. I ferried the reborn prince to your city so he could be redeemed. I protected Zavala from Kaido's ambitions, ending a war before it could even begin. I delivered the House of Light on its knees to Ikora. I unmasked the enemies lurking inside your city's walls and destroyed them. You may disagree with my methods, but you can't argue with results. I am no villain, and you are no hero. We are paracausal.
This is my fault. I invited her in. I convinced Zavala that we needed Osiris by our side. A dark pit looked back every time I met his eyes, and I told myself it was his grief. Savathun knew she could use that. The city is the last place Xivu Arath would have searched for her. Now, Saint is tearing the system apart, looking for the real Osiris. You and Crow will need to take point with the Awoken. I don't like it, but he wants to help, and he's earned some trust. It's his decision. We're in a downpour of revelation. I've been trying to analyze every drop of information, as if I could isolate them before they're washed away. There's so much I need to reevaluate, so much I need to do. Interrogate the Witch Queen while we have a captive audience. Our enemies often flirt with arrogance when they believe they've won. See if she'll let her true intentions slip.
This is the gatehouse. It leads to many places. The vault where I stowed the scepter is one of those places. The atlas skews you've collected serve as star charts of sorts, used to map and navigate ley lines back when they could be freely explored. Uldren had been searching for Ager's scepter for some time when he made these. Another daring venture to win my affections, against my better wishes. He often embedded travel logs into his skews. Here.
Sister, I wonder when the spies you have following me will find these. Do you still walk the old paths we made? Mother's old tales come to mind. I've been adding to my favorite, The twin kestrels whose hearts beat as one. You'll have to tell me what you think when I return with the scepter. Mother Kestrel watched perfect daughter Riga as she plotted the infinite paths of the Hollow, as if concocting a plan for each way it could grow. But with her son Agur, Mother instead held him tight beneath her wing in the oak's hollow. She pointed starward and whispered warnings of dangerous storms and cosmic sojourners that carved chaos in the sky. The beautiful depth of the dark spots caught his eye. His imagination was arrested by them. Agur struggled against his mother's wing, yearning to leap from the tallest branch and soar to see the storms for himself. But Mother Kestrel's talon caught him. She scolded him to never leave the canopy. She held him in crushing closeness and vowed not to show him the stars again. He grew to resent her protection.
If it is still unclear, the twin kestrels represent Uldren and myself. Their mother is Osanna Sav. Uldren found Osanna's prescriptions restrictive. I never considered her a mother myself, but her dreams of foresight interested me. We both saw calamity looming, Osanna and I. In the distributary, where the Awoken were born, we were eternal. Osanna would hide there forever rather than face the enemy. When we left to form the reef, many chose to hide with her. You're done here. I'll send for you when more skews reveal themselves.
I know you have reservations about my arrangement with Savathun. I feel it in your heart. For all her clever machinations, the Witch Queen did not anticipate your success in stopping Quria or the Endless Night. Her schemes unravel, and now she needs my protection from Xivu Arath, from the Worm Gods, from you. I have already learned much by observation. The Taken pursued her here. Taken she once controlled. Taken that now serve a new master. Or, if Savathun is to be believed, their original master. Not her brother, Oryx, but something far older. She fears it. It commands Xivu Arath to conquer the Ascendant space surrounding the Dreaming City, to use the Taken in her campaign against us. For now, Savathun claims that without the Taken, she cannot break the curse she placed on the Dreaming City. She thinks she can entice me with these half-truths and secret temptations, but she underestimates the lengths to which I will go to correct the past.
The twin kestrels darted through the gaps between branches. The leaves formed verdant pathways. Predictably, Riga first, with Agur close behind. In those pathways, they traded secrets. Secrets Riga whispered to the flock, hoping to push them beyond the hollow, beyond the forest. Most nights, Riga and Agur sat beneath the stars to dream. Twin hearts sounding a duet of beats. Like ours, Mara. I still feel yours. Still distant. In this story, Agur fixated on the dark clouded pox that marred the night above the canopy. He pointed to the starry spaces between them and asked his sister to name them. Riga never spoke a word. She already knew all their names and didn't want to crush his spirit. How charitable. One night, Agur grew impatient of her silence and pointed to one of the dark spots as it roared with thunder. The storm is singing to us, said Agur. We should sing back to show it we are not afraid. Riga wove her voice with his, and the thunder resounded. She did not sing with him again after that night. Rare to see stars in the ascended plane. I wish we were doing this together. Why hide the scepter if it weren't a test?
I understand Awoken history is not your strong suit, Titan. I will teach you. When the Awoken people came into being after the collapse, I was the first. As first, my chosen form defined what an Awoken could be. Thousands followed my example, willing themselves into existence within the distributary. Some, like Uldren, required help. His mind was like an unsteady fawn. No surprise he was unable to do it on his own. So I guided him, filled the gaps in his memory. I gave him a star to follow. He was bonded to me, and his devotion spiraled into pathetic recklessness. Even through death, he hasn't outgrown that dependency. I see it in him as he looks longingly to his ghost for answers. To you.
I knew you'd be back. I'm so glad we get to talk. You and that charming little ghost of yours, you're not like the rest. You're not afraid of my words. Words are just thoughts given shape. Ideas emerging into the physical world, birthed by a mouth. Not good or evil, not light or dark, or this or that. And you understand, don't you? Despite the excruciatingly binary worldview of those around you. You don't have to say it. We've all heard it before. The line between light and dark is so very thin. As if you were incapable of lifting your eyes from a scroll of chalk on the ground. The traveler in the light near one foot, your old enemies and the darkness at the other. Let me tell you a secret. If you ever want to see what's been watching you since the very beginning, just stand on that line and look up.
We Awoken were born of light and dark. Our perspective on the universe is a complex one. The light is not inherently good, as your warlords of the Dark Age so clearly demonstrated. In spite of Zavala's preconceptions, darkness is not inherently evil. Some among you already discovered this on Europa. In my travels, I have seen true evil. It is the worm gods that the Hive serve. It is the Black Fleet, waiting to strike. It is the entity that commands them all. The voice in the darkness. These creatures are not evil because they wield darkness. They are evil because, like Savathun and Xivu Arath, they are cruel, hateful things with no regard for the lives of others. Some might say that includes me as well. I will let history be the judge of my guilt. Before that judgment is cast, I will see my Techians returned. Perhaps with them I can save us all.
Osiris was like family to me.
You've never even met him.
I know. Just let me speak to Savathun, please.
No. I won't give that witch another chance to dig her claws into you.
Maybe she's right, Crow.
You know I am. Savathun is already in your head. You're a liability to the mission.
Why do you have such a problem with me, Petra? 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking.
The Queen of the Reef forbids it.
Well, I don't take commands from the Queen of the Reef.
Savathun unraveled the Dreaming City with a single wish. I've spent years trying to contain that mistake. Better men than you died because of it.
To my ear, it sounds like you're the liability. Maybe your queen's trust in you was misplaced. A knife against a hunter? I'd be more careful who you pick fights with.
Another step, and my corsairs will have to prepare you a second grave.
Save it for the Hive, both of you. This isn't getting us anywhere. Thank you. We could all probably use a minute to cool off. Oh no.
Keep both eyes on that one.
You can't stop the inevitable. No one can. Though Petra Venge seems perfectly willing to try. I've always sympathized with Crow, you know. All the kind words I shared with him as Osiris were sincere. I know what it's like to be an exile. To be hated for things outside of your control. It would be better for Crow if we talked. I want to explain why I did what I did. I want him to know that my affection is true, because the less he knows, the more vulnerable he is. Doomed to be strung along by false promises from supposed benefactors. But then again, I'm the one trapped in the crystal prison. What do I know?
Venge thinks I'm vulnerable, and I'm supposed to just take a seat? Like I was the only one fooled by Savathun wearing Osiris' skin? You'd known him far longer than I thought I had, but I don't see her forbidding you from speaking to her. Because it's not about me. It's about who I was, isn't it? Every time the Vanguard tells me that things will get better, I thank them, as if it's a privilege not to be beaten to death. Our past lives aren't supposed to matter. I'm beginning to wonder why I'm the only Guardian being judged by mine. No more apologies. No more creeping around on eggshells. I deserve an audience with Savathun. I deserve to know how much of what she told me as Osiris was a lie. I deserve answers.
I don't need to be Marasov to see into your mind, Guardian. You think I'm making a mistake. You think I barred Crow out of pettiness. I won't say I didn't recommend it, but it was the Queen's order, for his own safety. I see Prince Uldren's arrogance in him, his desire to please. He's vulnerable. Uldren and your Crow are echoes of each other. Surely you can see that. They share kindred weaknesses. Savathun will exploit them again if we let her. But with Mara back, I can finally see the end approaching. It's been a long time coming. There are still Techians in need of your strength. I wish I could fill their place, but this must be how things are. I'm here if you need me.
Each ascendant beacon you reawaken reclaims a road once lost to me, broadens my sight. But my realm still aches. Savathun has done so much to destroy everything my people worked for. She stole my brother from me, twisted his mind, and delivered him to his executioners. Then she had the audacity to steal him from the Traveler, manipulate him, and lead him back home. It is strange, having him here. And yet not. Crow is a wounded bird, flinching away from me, so much like Uldren, but lost without a guiding hand. Do you understand why I forbade him from speaking with Savathun? This reunion is such cruel kindness. I will find a way to repay her for it. And you will continue to bring me the Techians I need to do so.
Agra, much loved by the flock, convinced a great many to fly with the twins when they left the Hollow. He knelt before Riga and presented the crown of feathers their mother had crafted for her, and waited for her to respond in kind. She rose as queen, but did not gift Agar the scepter. His scepter. Despite everything, she still said he wasn't ready. It was a test of his will, right? His devotion. one he would not fail. For he was patient. So patient. Together the twins led the flock away from the oak's hollow, to carve new nests in distant boughs beyond the forest's edge. Agar flew far and wide at Riga's behest, always thinking of her test, and returned home with tales of all that he had seen. Dark clouds surrounded them. Fires burned within trees, split by thunderous bolts. His twin kept his words close. Riga scattered prophetic bones and traced their curvature like weathered oaken bends. In them the signs were clear. A great storm did indeed approach, they in its path, and so they prepared themselves for war. I wish you'd just give it to me. I could use it to help us face what we both know is coming. It doesn't even belong to you.
This coming storm he speaks of was the flashpoint. The battle of Saturn against the Taken King. It was the shift from stability into dissonance. I failed to shape Uldren in accordance with my goals, but if I were to take all that he was and reveal that past to him now, would he be my brother? Or is it only his echoes that remain? I see many of those same beginnings leading now to different ends. Tell me, would you be so forgiving if Crow carried more of Uldren with him? Would you still accept him? A defensive ward has been engaged over the scepter. It is a failsafe to keep it protected. Either my brother found this place without my knowledge and set it off, or the ward was engaged when the surrounding architecture suffered structural damage. There is a bypass. It is code, kept secret, in that it has been scattered across dozens of terminals throughout the Awoken territory. Fret not, you don't have to collect them. I will have the pieces consolidated and reformed. While you wait, you needn't stand idle like a lost child. Return to me. My borders are threatened.
I've been thinking about family quite a bit. What with all the spare time I have. It might surprise you to hear, but everything my siblings and I have done has been for each other. Even though the Vanguard isn't quite the same, they're no different at heart. You'd do anything for your family, chosen or otherwise. Go to any lengths to avenge them. Look at the Crow and Queen Mara. Siblings, bonded by cosmic fate, forever orbiting one another like binary stars. Mara reminds me of my sister. She's afraid, holding on so tightly because she can't bear to lose one more thing. But we all have to let go. When I am separated from my worm, I'll be separated from Xivu Arath too. And then my sister will be alone. The last of us. But as much as I care for her, I cannot stay like this.
Xivu Arath's subordinate came to my doorstep as a thief. Their death is the price of encroachment. Agar's scepter carves pathways toward one's goals. The compass you carry is based off the same principles as this weapon. In Uldren's hands, it could have connected every edge of my kingdom. Through Xivu Arath, it would grant an omnipresence within the reef even I could not subdue. Deliver it safely to me. While it may never be Uldren's, it may yet serve to guide what he has become. So you wish to hear the rest of my brother's story? Fine. I will oblige you. When the storm came, Riga and Aga rode the winds to meet it. A fleet of talons at their back. A great battle ensued. The storm took, as was its nature. Many fell, Aga among them. Riga could only watch as he tumbled down, 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 until her heart beat alone. She dove into the storm, giving herself to destroy it. Riga's spirit ascended higher into the sky, where she hoped to reunite with her brother. Instead, she met the thing that sent the storm. A bottomless well of grief, unreachable by reasoning or bargaining or violence. A voice in the darkness. And so, Riga gathered her feathers into an aegis of wings to shield the world below. But over the years, feathers broke away. Futility wore thin her resolve. Then, one day, her heart began to beat as it once had. Doubled, distant, but different. A beautiful echo. Hope called her home. And though she prayed to find Aga there, he never returned. I still feel Uldren's heartbeat somewhere out there. When your crow first stood in my halls, I saw an ember of my Uldren burning in his breast. Curiosity, and a sibling fondness, told me I could stoke that ember. I hope it is not a lie. I hope he is more than the last ebb of hot ash from a long dead flame. Many of his faults were not of his own making. Uldren's decisions were his, of course, but driven by whips in the hands of others. Myself included. I will have to offer him more than an old story of an empty promise if I wish to see that ember burn again. This is the path I led Uldren down. If certain actors had kept to their roles, I would have wielded Uldren Salve, Light-Bearer. But even Mara Salve cannot control everyone. I celebrate his resurrection in the light. But I detest seeing my brother rewritten, his greater self sloughed away and swept into the cellar. There is still good to draw from who he was. Don't squander it. He needs a star to guide him. Uldren or Crow, they are the same in that regard. Aga's scepter is yours, then. Both its burden and the freedom it can provide. Be careful with it, Guardian. He is prone to devotion.
Have destroyed us, and yet they have waited. Why? Savathun knows more than she lets on. It is the only reason she still lives, and she is keenly aware of that fact. It is why Xivu Arath pursues her so relentlessly. For Xivu Arath answers to the same entity as the Black Fleet. We must uncover whatever secrets she knows with the time that we have. I must reiterate, she will try to betray us. It is all that a wretched, self-serving creature like Savathun knows how to do. She needs me to free herself of her worm, but after that, the blind well requires alignment. As you rescue my remaining Techians, continue your audiences with her. How did Mies Rex put it? We must all learn to live alongside our monsters. Though I suppose he never said for how long.
When this is over, I wonder if Mara will uphold her end of the bargain and let me live. Killing me is probably at the top of your to-do list as well, isn't it? You've done a lot of killing over the years. Let me ask you something. Of all the enemies you've fought, how many saw your ghost and realized, that's why Guardians are so strong? Not most, but some. They might have even taken a shot at it. R.I.P. Cade. Now, how many saw beyond your ghost? How many followed the line of your light straight back to the Traveler? And how many knew enough to aim a weapon there? A few. The smart ones, the dangerous ones. You'd recognize their names. Listen to me now. Look beyond me to my worm. Look beyond my worm to something far, far worse. Then look down at that little gun in your hand and tell me, what do you think you're going to do with that thing?
My coven of Techians is almost assembled. Well done. Soon all there will be left to do is wait for the ley lines to fall into position. Then we may exorcise Savathun's worm and reclaim Osiris. She divulges more to you than I, Guardian, though it can be difficult to separate poisonous words from the honeyed ones. I worry that the crow is especially susceptible. I feel the desire for approval in him, as I felt it in Uldren, and he idolized Osiris, almost as much as he idolizes you. Do not forget what has been asked of you. Until the ritual is ready, continue charting ley line passages. We are so close to bringing the last of my lost Techians home.
You were kind to me. I thought you were my friend.
Am I not?
You lied to me!
I helped you break Xivu Aras's hold on the shore, brought you to the last city, offered you guidance.
Stop.
If that's what you want.
I want the truth.
I was kind to you because I wanted to be. Because the truth hurts. You know this better than anyone. Shrinking away from the rumors of the man you used to be.
I'm not him.
How can you say that when you don't even know who he is? If the truth is what you really want, then lay your hand on me.
Crow, don't. Please.
See? Even your ghost thinks you're better off in the dark.
I did. Crow, don't. Don't come any closer. What did you show him?
Everything.
No, wait! You hurt him.
Someone had to. Better for it to have come from a friend. Don't give me that look. I told you that you can't stop the inevitable. Deep down, Crow wanted to know. He was going to find out one way or another, Guardian taboos or no. You should thank me. Just imagine if it had come from someone with bad intentions. Someone who could have colored the truth about how he died to turn him against you. Against the Traveler. But I would never do such a thing. I see too much of myself in him. We were both looking for our purpose. Now that the Crow has found his as a Guardian, he can see it for what it truly is. A second chance. Something to reflect on. If people didn't want him to know, was it to protect Crow from himself? Or was it to protect themselves from Crow? I do so enjoy our talks.
Uldren Sov, awoken prince, brother to the queen, murderer. Now I know the man I was. And you. I'm sorry. You did what you had to do. I don't think I would have told me either. Savathun's visions were like a waking dream. I could feel the heat of the flames, taste the blood in my mouth. I saw everything he did through his eyes. You're afraid of who I used to be, that he'll come back somehow. I am too. So I've asked Ikor to put me on another assignment. One where I can be somewhere I know my choices are my own. Tell Mara. Tell her whatever you want. I'll see you again when I'm ready.
When I first saw Crow, I looked into his mind. I did not see my brother's memories. Savathun dredged them from a place beyond my grasp when she revealed his past life to him. She suspects I do not mean to let her live once the separation ritual is complete, and is testing our patience. Perhaps she means only to hurt me. The risk of her cunning is too great, no matter her intentions. Until the conditions are right for us to exorcise her worm, I am restricting all access to Savathun. I will, however, afford you one last meeting to conclude your investigations before I seal her away. Steel your mind when you face her, Guardian. The Witch Queen is no less dangerous now than she has ever been. We have one last Techian to locate. Go forth.
Preparations for Savathun's exorcism are underway, but the ritual can't begin without a cosmic alignment. It will take time. I want to express my gratitude for saving our new coven of Techians. They are young, with many years left to train. You've preserved their potential. Thank you. I tried to do the same for Crow, even if it pains my queen to see him leave. It's hard to imagine there's a safer place for him than at her side, but this is for the best. You saw what Savathun did to him. She could do more. Prince Uldren and I were friends once, you know. In our own strange way. I still think about him all the time. The sound of that gunshot. He's free now. To find his way between the stars. If only we could all be so lucky.
I've been keeping tabs on you. Your victories against my sister. The mess you've made of the Ascendant Plane while you rescued your third-string witches. Delightful to see so many working towards a common goal, isn't it? I'm glad I can again be the catalyst that brings humanity and the reef together. It's a pity Mara Sov doesn't see it that way. Her face is a perfect porcelain mask. But look behind her eyes, and you can see the incandescent rage burning within. She's very upset with me. This will be our last talk until the day of the ritual, O Guardian mine. Now that Marasov's coven is assembled, the only thing left to do is to keep Xivu Arath from ruining things while the ley lines fall into position. This may take some time, but I have waited millennia to be free. I can hold out for just a little bit longer. Farewell. For now.